Let's go to the family tree. As I trace my story back, show you the Indian tribes that my ancestors were a part of, so that I can educate my progeny and my future generations on exactly who they are. It's going to be important. All right. This is my family tree. There I am right there. Kevin L. Thomas. Thomas Toma. Twin. The sprout. The youngling. The young. Thomas. From the root Toma. That's if you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Here it's just twin. And it's ill that, you know what I mean, the name is from the root twin, because guess what my zodiac sign is? Yeah, that's right. Sign of the twins. Couldn't make it up if I wanted to. Even the year 69 that I was born in, that's a twin. They're opposite twins. The 6 is just the 9 turned upside down. Twins. So there's Kevin L. Thomas, son of Jerry Bilbo and Rosalie. All right. On my father's side, my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandfather was also Jerry Bilbo. My father was named after his father. My grandmother was Lula Verne. Of the Norwoods. My father was of the Wilsons, right? Lula, my grandmother, was born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Right? In 1919. Ain't that wild? On June 19th of 1919, that's when my grandmother was born. Them 19s, special. June is the same month I was born in, so that goes without saying. But I used to say in a song that my alarm would go off at 6:19. 6:19 is my grandmother's birthday. That's how it flows. Her name was Lula Verne. And Lula was named after her mother, my great-grandmother, whose name was also Lula. All right? And then on my grandfather's side, my great-grandfather was also Jerry Bilbo. So my grandfather was named after my great-grandfather. All these were from Mississippi, Hattiesburg, at a place called Palmer's Crossing. It was also called Wilson Hill, Palmer's Landing, where we still have family land right now. We went down to see it for a family reunion. It was the first time I had been there, and it was the first time my father had been there. So it was a exciting and memorable and eye-opening moment where we talked about my great-grandmother, Elvira, who they call Ma Elvira. And they told me stories about my Ma Elvira. She was Chickasaw and Choctaw. And she used to walk around barefooted all the time. That's what they say. When you see her, she was walking around barefoot. You know, staying grounded. All right. Back on my grandmother's side, Lula is my great-grandmother, Dilsey. Dilsey is the mother of my great-grandmother, Lula. So my great-great-grandmother, Dilsey, on my grandmother's side, and then on my grandfather's side, my great-grandmother, her mother, was Isabella. Isabella was my great-great-grandmother. Right? Isabella was born in Mississippi as well. Right? My Elvira was listed as Arkansas. Right? Let's see if I can. Where's my map? Oh, let's look at the National Atlas. Indian tribes, which you can't see. Yeah, you can see that. But I'm going to pull that up We're going to stop sharing that. And I'm going to share a different screen. All right. Saw the tree. Let's go to the National Atlas on Indian Tribes so we can show you where they was at. All right. All up here in Chickasaw land. You see, my ancestors was from the Southeast Band, which included the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Alabamas, the Tahoma, you mean, the Muskogee, the Creek, Yamasee, right? And we had land, still got land here, land in Arkansas, right? But that's the map. I mean, it was my ancestors who walked the Trail of Tears, so-called, you mean, as we was pushed out of the east and into the west, right? It's how my family wound up in places like Washington, all along the West Coast, California, up in Arizona, right? But this is where they came from: Georgia, South Carolina, you know what I mean? Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, all up in these areas. And that's on my father's side. But my mother's side reads pretty much the same, showing that we was moving as a people and also being moved as a people. Right? Yeah. And you can see this map at right there, local.government/resource. It's the National Atlas, Indian Tribes, Cultures, and Languages. You know what I mean? We'll break down the linguistic stock. Chimakuan. Chimakuan. Chimaquan. Chimaquan. All right. So stop sharing that. Take it back to my family tree. All right. So the Norwoods, the Laceys, the Wilsons, the Loves, up to the Jones, my great great grandparents. Amos, my great great grandfather. I think this one was I think he was a pastor, maybe. Born in Alabama. We get crazy, right? Don't seem like that long. Let's look at Archie's profile. Let's check out the census. Look at the 1870 census. Archie Jones was 46. Born in Virginia. He listed his race as, of course, black. But you have to understand, there was only two type of people here. You know what I mean? As far as the census go. But it's funny how on these censuses, Europeans didn't put that they was, well, they did put they was European if they did, but for the most part, they was trying to say that they was already us. Archie had an estate that was valued at 175 at the time in the 1800s. A farmer. All right. Let's look at the record, though. Dun, 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 dun. Here's Archie, a farmer on his estate that's valued at $175. Laborers. Laborers. Phoebe. Amos was 19. But he was a laborer on the farm. Minerva. Delio. Thomas Wilson. Yeah, imagine. That's now that would be my contracted name, or Wilson Thomas, depending. But Thomas Wilson, yeah. Mother and father. Lonzo. Albert Wilson. All right. Let's see where they got this. Jasper County, Mississippi. There were a lot of black farmers around. My great-great-grandfather, who also had farms, as you can see. And then you got white farmers as well, who was also there. Who was this? Migga Walls. Migga Walls from Mississippi. Louisa Walls from Alabama. James Walls, he was only 2 years old at the time. And William Walls, so. Some more white farmers, so-called. And then in there, you got a mulatto. So I say it was nothing but Indians here. The Americans are the Indians. My other video breaks down all those etymologies dealing with American, America, Indian, to show and prove that these were indeed us. All right, so you had mulattoes or mixes because it was mixing going on. You know what I mean? You had foreign colonists coming in, you know what I mean, and mixing in. And we were already here, of course, mixing with each other. That's how we got the families that we got. We was already diverse before they got here under their doctrines of discovery and shit. But this was in Mississippi, Jasper County. My great-great-grandfather, Archie, listed as black. Notice what it don't say. It don't say African, because that did not even exist. There was only by color, white, black, mulatto. Look, the Chinese was even here by 1870, right? And then who they wanted to refer to as Indians, those federally recognized Indians, right? Because you also have to understand that we went to war in this motherfucker, you know what I mean, behind this. So the winners became who? The United States, right? But who did the United States fight? They fought the Confederates, the Federation, all right? Our families banded together, you know what I mean? And then tried to ally ourselves with, you know what I mean, one side of these foreigners who was here trying to take the whole shit. So the same shit that's going on now. But yeah, went to war on both sides of the war. Understand? Because I have ancestors, you know what I mean, who were Confederate soldiers, and I got ancestors that was Union soldiers. So on both sides of the war, on both sides of the, you know what I mean, playing field, just like it is now. Because believe it or not, it's some people in the United States that's really with this system. They love this shit. But for us, we don't like this shit at all. And it came over here, trashed everything, tried to genocide, tried to unalive us, genocide us and shit. You know what I mean? But we still here. But I'm just saying, same things is going on. They running the same play in other places. All right? I ain't gonna hold y'all though. Just wanted to share a little bit of my tree. You know what I mean? Share a little bit of my tree. On my father's side. Next time, we'll talk about mother's side. And since we're matriarchy, you know what I mean? We are what our mothers were and are. So there is that. In lieu of all this stuff, when I start talking about my own family, you'll see how wild this shit get. All right. Hey, mama. All right. Just sitting up here. Just sitting up here doing a video about the family tree. The family tree. So yeah, that's my ancestors up to my great grandfather Archie. Yeah. On my father's side, you know what I mean, the one that brought forth the JBs, the Jerry Bilbos. These are the JBs, the JBs. Archie Jones, the farmer. And like I said, I think Archie Jones also had a church. Great third generation. Great grandmother, grandfather on Jerry's side. Also on grandma's side too. On Lula's side. Yep. That's me talking to my matriarch, my mother, Rosalie. Yeah. Stop sharing that. But yeah, as you can see, we've been here since we've been here. And like I said, when you look at the census, you see the categories that they had, right? And the further we go back, we see how the census changed along the way. But one thing is for certain, Africa was never on the census until much later. So that should tell you something, right? That didn't come until much later because they knew we've been here. We had already been here. That's why the descriptions of the people are our description. Let's go look them up, right? They told you when the Chinese was here, right? Because they put Chinese up there. And they familiar. Coming from Europe, they were familiar with all these people because they were the ones that were nearest to Asia. You know what I mean? and was called Africa. All right. They was right there. So you had contact with those people. That's why when you came over here, you thought you were looking at those people or people similar to those people. So that's how you labeled it. All right. But yeah, I done went from reacting to my music that you never heard to talking about my family tree, showing you a map, of the Indian lands that they came from, right? Showing you also on those censuses from the 1800s and such, there was no such thing as an African American. Hell, they didn't even have American on it. They had black, white, Chinese, Indian, mulatto. All right. What that tell you? I ain't gonna hold y'all though. I know I said that before, but this time, yeah, that's it. Holla at y'all.